Welcome everyone to How to Manage Zoom Sessions. What are we going to be covering today? So we'll start off by talking a little bit about how you start your meeting when you're the host, talk about the waiting room, if you've implemented the waiting room, how to manage your participants too when you're the host of a Zoom meeting. We'll talk about how you share your screen, because I know that's a big one with folks, and then ending your Zoom meeting. So we have a number of things to cover, and let's get started. Just curious, let me hop back over so I can see everybody. Is anyone going to be hosting a Zoom meeting for the first time soon? You can just kind of do the hand raise or in the chat. Let me know if you're going to be for the first time hosting your Zoom meeting, just so I know. And I'll just wait for that in the chat. So thank you for that information. So how do you start your Zoom meeting? And this really depends on what device you're using. So today I am working on my laptop. And so because I'm on my PC, I would be going to the zoom.us website, find that meetings tab on the left side, the left panel, and then under upcoming meetings, find my meeting. And I'll show that to you in just a moment, what that looks like. If you are working off of the mobile app, so if you're on a smartphone or a tablet, what you'll do is open up your app, your Zoom app on your device. And then once you've logged on, there's a meeting section here that you see. You will also see upcoming meetings, and you can just tap on the start button for a meeting. Click on start, tap on start. So it really just depends on which device you're working from. And what I wanted to show you is, let me just go to my zoom.us website. Just give me a minute here. I've already logged on to my Zoom account. So if I click on my account, and again, I'm using my web browser. If I click on the meetings tab on the left navigation panel, this shows me all of my upcoming meetings. And then one of the things that I can do is just simply click on the start button next to that meeting, and this will start my Zoom meeting that I've scheduled. So again, just a real quick, how do you start your Zoom meeting? And again, feel free to let me know if you have any questions about that. And this class, just so that you know, we're not going to talk about how you schedule a Zoom meeting. We have a separate class for that. This class really starts, you've scheduled your Zoom meeting, you're starting your Zoom meeting. Now, what do you do? And one of the things that I wanted to show you is that when you are hosting a Zoom meeting, when you start your Zoom meeting, you're going to see that on your Zoom control bar, you will suddenly see a number of other icons that you don't see when you're a participant. I also wanted to mention that if you have a paid Zoom account that you're working on, you will see polls as an icon available on your Zoom control bar. If you're working with a free Zoom account, you will not see that polls icon. It's only available, that feature is only available with paid Zoom accounts. This more button that you'll see on my Zoom control bar, because I'm working on the web version of Zoom, this enables you to actually do live streaming for your Zoom meeting. So just be aware, and you'll see it on my control bar when I'm sharing my screen when you start a Zoom meeting as the host. And Michael is questioning, what is the benefit of polls? Polls are great because you can set up a poll. You can poll your class. How many people have ever, for example, hosted a Zoom meeting? And then the participants in your Zoom meeting can answer the poll, and you can display the results of the poll live to everyone. So it's a nice, way to kind of mix up your meeting and ask questions of your participants without having to have them unmute themselves or raise their hand or put it in the chat. And so polls is a great feature to have access to. So what I'm going to do now is let me switch back to my meeting here. All right, let me just close my control. And Jackie has a question. Is there a class more specific to using iPad to host? Yes, but it's not on the schedule yet. I just created the class, Jackie, and I'm waiting for it to be put on the schedule because this is going to be very PC specific, very computer, specific. So sorry about that. Emma, did you have a question?
Yes, two questions. How do you get to that bar that had all the information about the poll? I missed that part.
Okay, so Emma, do you see at the bottom of my screen over here? This is my Zoom control bar. I'm going to try and I don't want to make it too big.
Okay.
Do you see? Yeah. And so when you are hosting a Zoom meeting, and you won't see this because you're a participant, there can only be one host in a Zoom meeting. So I can't make everybody a host. But when you start a Zoom meeting, one that you've scheduled as a host, you will suddenly see a number of these other icons that appear at the bottom of your screen. Now, you won't see live transcript because I've turned that on. Some of our participants, some of our learners request to have a live transcript of the class. But you will see, we're going to go over security. That's something you don't see as a participant. Here's that polls icon. And again, this is available for me because I'm working off of a paid Zoom account. You won't see this on your Zoom control bar if you're working off of a free Zoom account. You'll see the pause, stop recording button. And as a host, you can record. You can start and stop recording at any time. If you're on a PC, you won't see this, Jackie, if you're on an iPad or a phone. Breakout rooms, I don't believe are available to you on mobile devices. But you'll see breakout rooms, and we have a class specifically that shows you how to use breakout rooms. And then the more button, this is where you have that live streaming capability, which we don't talk about in class. And so as a host, this is what your Zoom control bar will look like. Again, you won't have the closed captioning. I've turned that on specifically.
Question.
Yeah, Emma.
You mentioned the polls. Now, if you're going to do a poll, and I've been in meeting sessions where there was a poll came up on the screen. As a hostess, the poll must be completed in advance, or do you type the information during the meeting and you can post it? How that works? Does it need to be created in advance?
It needs to be created in advance. And Emma, we actually have a class that shows you how to deal with breakout rooms and polls. That's probably a class, if you're interested, that you want to register for. It's a great one. But yes, you would create the polls ahead of time.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Great question. All right, let's start off by talking about how you can invite participants to your meeting once it's started. So in the upper left-hand corner, and I don't think it lets me, I don't know if I can annotate on this. Well, let me, there we go. I have circled, it's that green looks like a shield, if you will. I've circled that green shield. If you click on the green shield, and if you're on an iPad, it will have the green shield and it will have Zoom, the word Zoom next to it. If I click on the green shield, the little symbol, it drops down this menu and it displays all kinds of information about your Zoom meeting. You'll notice in here, we have our meeting ID, the passcode, but we also have this copy link. And if I click on copy link, it copies this link to my Zoom meeting. And I could then paste this link in an email and send it to one or more participants. So on my PC, I use something called Notepad. It's just this little text editor. And if I do my Control V keystrokes, this is what that link looks like. So I could then paste this and send it into an email to other participants that I would like to invite to my Zoom meeting once I've started it off. So if I had sent out an invite and then I realized, oh, I forgot to invite a few people. One of the ways that I can invite participants to my meeting once it's begun is click on the green shield symbol, click on the copy link, and then you'll see if this URL is copied to the clipboard. And what that means is that it's now available. I can post this link into an email, a text, anything I wish actually, and send it off to those participants that I'd like to invite to my meeting that has started. I can do. There's a second way to invite people. And what I'm going to do is on my Zoom control bar, I'm going to click on the participants icon. And that brings up my participant screen. Because I'm on a PC, it brings it up all the way to the right of my screen. You'll notice at the bottom left corner of that participant screen, let's see if I can circle this, there is this big invite button over there. If I click on the invite button, it brings up another screen. And I always tell people, ignore everything on this screen. Just pretend it doesn't exist. Instead, you can tap on the email tab right over there. So I'm going to click on email. I'm on the email tab. And you have three choices. And it's basically asking you, well, what email application do you use? I'm a Gmail user, but you may be a Yahoo Mail user. And if you're neither Gmail nor Yahoo, then click on default email. Whatever other email it is, this is like other. I'm going to click on Gmail because I do use Gmail. And this is the great thing about using this. It brings up your Gmail. What it's actually doing is creating an email template. And you'll see in a second what it's going to do. And Ron has a question. While folks on iPads can't create breakout rooms, yes, you can participate in a breakout room from an iPad. Yes, you'll be able to do that, Ron. You just, as a host, you can't create breakout rooms on an iPad. So when I clicked on that invite, I clicked on Gmail. And again, even if you clicked on Yahoo email or other email, it will create an email message for you just like this with all of the information someone would need to join your meeting. And in that to field, you can just start typing one or more email addresses. These are the participants you're going to send the invite to. I'm clicking on the send button down at the bottom here where my little purple pointer is, clicking on send. And then what it will do is then it will actually close this back up for you. and return you to your Zoom meeting. So that is the second way that you can invite a participant to join your Zoom meeting. You can use that invite button and then select the email tab, and then just select which email application you like to use. So 2 different ways to invite invite participants to your meeting once you've started it. Let's hop back over, and sorry, were there any questions? I just sort of hopped back over to my, nope, we're good. Okay. So that's inviting others to join your meeting. Let's talk a little bit about the waiting room. So as the host, when you scheduled your Zoom meeting, if you've enabled the waiting room, when you start your Zoom meeting, this is what it's going to look like as your participants click on the link, they type out their passcode, and then they're placed in the waiting room. And for you, the host, you'll see this little pop-up message come up on your screen. And every time someone is placed in the waiting room, you'll see, oh, so-and-so is in the waiting room. And next to their name, there will be these 2 buttons, admit and remove. So as the host, if you click on admit, what you're actually doing is moving that participant out of the virtual waiting room, and now they're in your Zoom meeting. Now, if you click on remove, you actually basically kick them out of the meeting. You not only remove them from the waiting room, but they cannot join your Zoom meeting at all. So you as the host have complete control over who can join your Zoom meeting from the waiting room. And another thing that you'll see is you can allow participants to kind of stack up, if you will, in the waiting room. And then you'll see that there is another button, admit all. You can click on that button and it will allow all the participants from the waiting room to join your meeting. So that's what the waiting room is used for. And again, let me know if you have any questions. Obviously, if you did not enable the waiting room when you were scheduling this meeting, you wouldn't see this at all. As your participants clicked on the link to join your meeting, they would just pop into your Zoom meeting. So this is the waiting room. Let's talk a little bit about how you can manage your participants. So I'm going to come back to the Zoom window. And as the host, you have a number of different controls available to you when it comes to managing your participants. So what I've done is I clicked on my participants icon on my Zoom control bar, and this brings up my participant screen. So if I wanted to, I could, and we'll go ahead and Emma, sorry, I'm going to use you as the guinea pig for today. I can highlight Emma's name. If I click on the more button next to Emma's name, again, as the host, I see a number of options in this menu. And again, just to review, you can, as the host, open up your participants list, highlight someone's name, participant's name, and then click on the more button. If you're on a mobile device, you'll just tap on their name. And as the host, there are a number of different options that you will see that as a host that you don't see as a participant. And so let me go over a few of these. One of the things that you'll see is it will say either ask to start video, or it may say stop video. So what's nice as a host is you can ask someone to turn on their camera. They don't have to, but let me just go, for example, Sean, let me just use I'm going to use you as an example. I'm clicking on more next to Sean's name. And you'll see over here, stop video. So there have actually been times as a host when I have turned someone's camera off. Just to, twice I've had this happen to me. People have fallen asleep in class. It happens. Maybe they've been taking lots of classes that day and they just needed to take a little nap. Just out of consideration of others and for them, I will stop their video. I will actually turn their camera off. Now, at some point, they can choose to turn their camera back on, but you can stop a participant's turn their camera off, but you can also ask them to turn their camera on. You can't turn it on for them. You can ask. The only thing you can do is you can stop their video, turn off their video. So let's talk a little bit about this pin option. Now, I have 2 monitors. So this is why you see pin to first screen, pin to second screen. For folks who have just 1 monitor, you will just see, I think it says pin to screen. And this is, anyone can use this. It doesn't have to be a host, but just so that even as a participant, you can pin someone's video to the screen. And then when you do that, and feel free to experiment with this as well, you'll see that their video becomes larger. And even if other people are starting to talk, their video won't move. That's what we mean by pin. Think about just like taking a pin and sticking it right in their video square. It just, the focus doesn't move from their screen, even if other people are talking. Now, when you pin someone to the screen, it only affects your view, you, the participant. No one else is affected. However, as a host, you have something called Spotlight, and participants don't have this. Any participant can pin someone's video to their screen, but only the host can spotlight a video screen. And when you select Spotlight, it changes the view for everyone in the meeting. So to give you an example, maybe you have a speaker, 1 or 2 speakers that you've invited to your meeting. What you can do is when they're talking, you can add them to the spotlight. You can make them the spotlit, if you will, speaker. And then their video is now much larger. And even if somebody else starts talking, they're still the focus. And this changes it for everyone in the meeting. So Spotlight is only available if you are a host or a co-host. It's not available to good old participants. You'll also see further down on this menu, we have Make Host and Make Co-host. So as the host, you can make another participant the host as well. Maybe you're starting the meeting and you know that you have to leave early. You might want to designate another participant as the host. You can also make multiple participants, a co-host. So co-hosts have additional permissions. They can do additional things that your participants cannot do. Emma, did you have a question?
Yes. With the co-host, make a host.
Mm-hmm.
I had a situation and I'm learning. I hosted a meeting. During the meeting in my home, there was a power surge. Everything went out. It wasn't long, but somehow it went out, everything black out on my end. And I came back in, people were still there.
Yeah.
So if you make someone a host, also, if there's a power outage that takes longer, will the meeting still go on with that person who is the host?
Yes. Yep. Also a co-host, and Michael, you can verify this for me. As long as you have another person as a co-host, I think the same thing will happen, because there have been times when our TAs are co-hosts and sometimes my internet connection goes out. It happens. But I can hop back in again, and the meeting is still going. So even if I believe someone is a co-host, you can do that too. If something happens, to your power, Emma, and you're disconnected, as soon as you get back on, you rejoin the meeting, it's still going on.
Yes, I know, because someone said that, sometimes you have a meeting that is a large group that is
Yes.
important, and they suggested to have another. How many hosts allowed?
You can only have one host per meeting, but you can have multiple co-hosts.
But if you said you can make another person a host along with you.
Yes. No, not along with you, instead of you. Sorry, I should have been specific.
Oh, instead of you. So
yes.
What privileges will the co-host have during the meeting?
Yeah, they have pretty much most everything a host has, except that there are a few things. And you know what? I have an article, and I'm going to add it to the after class notes so
Okay,
that
thank
everybody
you.
can have it. Sure thing. Yeah, that's a great
Thank you.
question, because people should know that. Let me just move down here where you'll see put in waiting room. You can actually move someone out of your meeting into your waiting room. So that's always good to know. And you'll also see remove here, remove and report. If someone is behaving badly in your meeting, you can select their name from the list of participants and kick them out of the meeting. So not only can you put somebody into the waiting room, but you can kick them out of the meeting altogether and they cannot come back. You also can report someone to Zoom. If someone's been obnoxious, is behaving badly, you can report them. And so at least Zoom has a record of it, and they can potentially deactivate this person's account. And Michael has put some really good information into the chat. Even if the co-host gets out of the class and there isn't any co-host, the session will go on. Oh, okay. And if the host gets off the session will be ended. Yes, this is what I was thinking. So just to reiterate what Emma was asking about, if you've assigned someone as a co-host, so you're the host, somebody else is a co-host, then if something happens and you leave the meeting will still go on. But I think my understanding, and this has happened to me, even as the host, again, if I've gotten kicked off, the meeting will continue. But if there is no co-host, I think then when you get kicked off, if you leave the meeting is over. So just something to be aware of. One other thing that I find really useful as a host is when you're on the participant screen, you will see, and you don't see this on your participant screen, I have a mute all button. You just have a mute button for yourself. Mute all. I use this often. So if I have, participants in a meeting and a couple of folks may have unmuted themselves and I hear background noise, what I do is I click on the mute all button, and that mutes everyone's microphone except for me, the host. So that's very useful. So mute all, that is your friend. And so that's the mute all button. And again, from the list of participants, whenever you click on that more button, that's the additional menu options that you will see. Okay, let's talk about this security panel down here. So I've shown you some of the controls that you have on the participant screen. I have something called the security icon. If I click on this, you don't have this as a participant. When I select my security icon on my Zoom control bar, there are a number of options of features that I can turn on and off for all participants. So when you're on the participant screen and you select an individual participant and click on the More button, what you're doing is turning things on and off for a specific participant. This is different when you click on the security icon. There are different features that you can turn on and off for all participants. So you'll see here where it says allow participants to. Share screen does not have a check mark next to it. And this means that I've turned off the ability for participants to click on the share screen button and actually share their screen. I tend to do this because sometimes participants are just clicking on icons during the meeting, and sometimes they'll click on the share screen button. And I'm like, oh, okay. And now I'm seeing somebody else's screen. So I tend to turn this off. But if I wanted to turn on the share screen option, I would just click on it. It disappears, but then I click on the security icon again. And now you see share screen has been enabled. And if I click on it one more time, and then let's go back and click on that security icon, you'll see that the check mark is deselected. So this is how you can turn on and off features that participants have access to during the Zoom meeting. You can disable chat so that they can't chat with anyone. You can disable the ability for participants to unmute themselves. You can unmute a participant, but they cannot unmute themselves. Oh, Michael has a correction. That's what I thought, Michael. So if we look in the chat, Michael has verified that if a host leaves a class without ending the session, so this is why if I'm the host and I get kicked off, the session does not end. Okay. So you don't even have to make someone, I think, a co-host. That's interesting. So even if you don't make someone a co-host, if you get kicked off by mistake, meaning you haven't ended the session, but you've lost your internet connection or there's been a power outage, the class will continue on. And when you join back in again, I think you join in as the host. So clicking on this little security icon, this is where, again, you can enable, disable different features for all participants in a meeting. You'll also notice up here, there's the enable waiting room. So even if you've turned on the waiting room when you scheduled your meeting, as the host, you can open up the security panel and you can turn off the waiting room. You can just deselect this, and then anybody, as long as they click on the link and enter their passcode, they can come on into your meeting. So these are some of the different things that you can do. Remove participant. When you click on this, it will bring up the list of participants, and you can select a participant's name to kick out of your meeting. I have not used the suspend participant activities, but if you use this, basically what it does is your meeting is still on. All your participants are still in the meeting, but they can't do anything. They can't use chat. They can't share their screen and so on. Maybe there's something going on. You have a computer problem. You need to figure something out. You just suspend your participant activities, and then you can resume your participant activities once you've figured out what the problem is.
I have a question.
Yeah, sure, Emma.
How do you lock your meeting?
You click on the lock meeting right here. do you see, I clicked on my security panel icon on my Zoom control bar. You can click on lock meeting. What that does is it doesn't allow anybody to join your meeting at all. You've basically kind of locked your perimeters and nobody else can come into your meeting.
So when it's locked, if someone click on the information to join the meeting, would they just sit there, or what happens on their end?
They, I haven't used this before, so I'm going to find out. As a participant, I wonder if you see a message that says the meeting is currently locked. Or the host has currently locked the meeting. That's a great question. I haven't ever locked a meeting before. So
The answer, I think, is yes. I've been late to a meeting and not been able to get in. I can actually see what's going on, but I don't think I can hear it. And I could see the notes, but they don't. But anyway, the answer, I think, is yes, if you lock out people that are late. Or maybe the tech does it.
Joe, I'll find out for sure. And I can experiment with this too. So I'll add it to the after class notes with whatever I've found out. So yeah, I'm not quite sure. It would be nice to know what a participant sees. So I'll verify that for the group. Thanks. I'm also looking in the chat. Ron has, in meetings I host, everyone who moves between the main room and breakout rooms is moved upon. Yeah. And Ron, this is really a question for a different class that deals with the breakout rooms. So is muted upon move. Yeah. And when you're in a breakout room, there's a whole nother set of controls that you work with. And Ron, what you would benefit from is taking the Zoom class that deals with breakout rooms and polls, because all of your questions will be answered. That is the security panel. And we have a couple of great questions that we need to get answered. Let's talk a little bit about sharing your screen. So you'll notice here down on the bottom, I have my share screen. Now, I'm already sharing my screen, so I can't share it again, but let me show you what that looks like. So if you, the host, by the way, if you click on your security icon, if you don't have share screen selected like I do, there's no checkbox. When your participants click on share screen, they will see a message that says, this feature has been turned off or disabled, or you don't have permissions to share the screen. So as the host, if you will be allowing your participants to share their screen, make sure you've clicked on this and there is a check mark next to it. So as the host, if you would like to share your screen, what you'll do is you'll click on the green share screen button. And when you do this, and by the way, whether you're the host or a participant, you will always see this screen. What you'll see is this next screen. Now, remember, I have two monitors, which is why you see screen 1 and screen 2. For most of you, if you don't have a second monitor, you won't see this. Instead, you'll just see screen, or it may be shared desktop. And what are we looking at on this first row? Okay, let's go over this. So screen. When you select screen and then you click on the share button on the lower right-hand corner here, what that will do is share your entire desktop. Let me just close this for a moment. When you share your entire desktop, that means that any tab, so I have my web browser open, and when I click on another tab in my web browser, you see what I'm showing you here. So any place, any application that I click on, whether it's email or another Zoom window, you will see that as a participant. So when you're sharing your screen, your desktop, anything that you open when you're in share mode, your participants will be able to see. And that may be exactly what you're looking for. Whiteboard. We have a class that shows you how to share your screen and use the whiteboard. It's a whiteboard feature, so you can scribble on it. You can have participants hop onto the whiteboard and scribble along, type on with you. iPhone, iPad. If you would like to share your iPhone screen or iPad screen as part of class, or excuse me, as part of your meeting, you would select the iPhone, iPad option. So this is what you typically see in this front row. You'll see your screen or desktop, whiteboard, iPhone or iPad. Now, if you have any applications currently open on your device, you will see them listed down here. And if you just want your participants to only be able to see a particular application, if you just want to share an application, then you'll select something from the second or third row. So for example, if I selected and this is my slides, if I selected my slides application and clicked on share, then no matter what else I clicked on my computer, participants in my Zoom meeting will only be able to see, in this case, my Google Slides application. If I opened up email, they wouldn't see it. So you'll want to select an application if you only want to share just that application and nothing else. So you have your desktop or your screen, and then you also have the option to share one or more applications. Another thing that I wanted to show you is I'm clicking on the Advanced tab up here, and I often use portion of screen. And when you do that, you can redraw your screen so that you're only showing a portion of your screen or only sharing a portion of your screen. So that's on the Advanced tab. But I think quite often most people will be using the screen or desktop option or selecting an application. Let's say you wanted to share a video. So let me just stop I'm just going to close this screen for a moment. I'm going to, let's say I go to YouTube and I want to share a video as part of my Zoom meeting. There may be a YouTube video. I'll just search on, I don't know. I always use cute puppies. There we go. And I might want to, show a video. So I could have this ready to go. I could have opened up before my Zoom meeting, opened up my YouTube, and then in my Zoom meeting, I would click on share screen. And then there's my little cute puppies. I would select my cute puppies application. It's my YouTube application. And in addition to this, I just want to show you down here. Oh, the annotate's not working, not on this screen. You'll see where it says share sound and optimize for video clip. If you're going to be playing videos during your Zoom meeting, when you share your screen, make sure you click on share sound, because then the sound coming from the video will be heard by your participants. And I also recommend selecting optimize for video clip, because then everything will display, they'll be able to see the video much clearer. So those are some of the options when you share your screen. I'm going to click on the close button because when you're sharing your screen, I just want to show this to you. There are some additional icons that show up on your Zoom control bar. You'll see the stop share. So when you are done sharing your screen, you'll click on the big red stop share button, and then you're out of the share. So clicking on the green icon to share your screen, then when you're done, you can click on stop share. You also have the option to pause your share. Maybe there's something you need to take a look at and you don't want people to see it. Maybe you need to bring up your email for a second to find someone's email address. You might want to pause your share. And so then that allows you to, for a few seconds or a few minutes, however long you paused your share for, do something else. When you're done, it will say resume share. And then you can come back and resume sharing your screen. So that's also a nice feature to know about. So just know that when you share your screen, these are some additional icons that will appear on your Zoom control bar. And again, clicking on stop share will just get you out of the share mode altogether. And I'm going to hop back over to my screen, my slides. Let's see, we talked about the security panel. We talked about screen sharing. So here's something that I wanted to show you, setting your chat permissions. I'm going to hop back over to my Zoom window. So let me close my participant screen for a moment. And instead, I'm going to click on the chat icon, which will open up my chat window. I have mine floating. So this is my chat window over here. Let me just make this a little bit. There we go. So here's my chat window. And what you'll see on the lower right-hand corner, let's see if my annotate won't let me, yep. Well, let me do this. Oh, goodness, not what I wanted. On the lower right-hand corner, you will see that there is the three buttons. There's the smiley face, and then there's there are three horizontal dots. Can everybody see that? My big purple pointer is like right underneath the three dots. If I click on the three dots, it brings up this menu. Now, you won't see this as a participant. You only see these additional options where it says participants can chat with. This is available to you as a host when you click on the three dots. You have the option to set these permissions. So by default, I have it set to everyone and anyone directly. What this means is that you can chat, you're allowing your participants to chat with others directly. They can have private chats. They can bring up different participants' names and select a name in the participant list to chat with them directly, as well as chat with everyone, have a public chat. If I select everyone, then that eliminates the ability for your participants to have private chats with other participants. If I select hosts and co-hosts, which is what we typically have set up for our classrooms, our Get Set Up classes, then you as a participant will only be able to send a chat, a direct chat to either a host or a co-host. And then you can set up no one. You can't chat with anyone. It's basically turning off the chat feature. I think teachers do this so that people can't, or they'll set it up with host and co-host to turn off the ability to chat with with each other. And so that's what that little dot will do. And I believe that I add this information into the after class notes because it's a lot. You'll see that I've added a big resource section to our after class notes because I don't expect anyone to remember this. And Emma, you have a question. Sharing a document, my computer, do I prepare? Oh, how do you prepare to share it? So Emma, if you are going to be sharing a document, you would open it up first. So for example, maybe I have a Word document. Oh gosh, I'm just going to open up a document. I have a Word document that I've opened up on my computer. You can see I'm opening it up here. And so I've opened up my document. And then Emma, what I would do is when it came time for me to share my screen, I would click on share screen. And then I would find there's that Word document. I would select it in my list of applications and I would click on share. So you would want to make sure that you had that document, whether it's a spreadsheet, something you prepared in Word or Google Docs. Make sure you have the application open and the file is open. Then when you clicked on the share button, it would appear in your list of applications. Select the application. It will show the document and then click on share. And that's how you'll be able to share a document.
Question.
Yeah, sure.
When you open, I saw your screen with other documents and you are searching for that one document you want. Will the other participants see all of your documents or only that one when you share it?
Just that one when you share it.
So as you search and they will not see your whole screen.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. The reason why you're seeing everything that I'm doing is because I currently have my screen shared. It's like having tunnel vision. But yes, no, Emma, they will not see anything.
So Vicky, I have a question too.
Sure.
So please, if I chat with one of the participants, only you and the co-host will see it, no? The others will not see the content of the message, no?
No one will see it except for that one
and
participant.
And you too, you can't see it if I send a message. Okay. So,
Nope, it's completely private.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
The last thing that I wanted to talk to everyone about, let me just hop over to my slides for a moment. As the host, how do you end your meeting? You have two options. So when you click on the red end button, so again, as a host, sorry, I'm going to hop back over here. I have an end button as a host. As participants, you have a leave button. So when you click on the end button as the host, you are presented with two more options. Leave meeting, you can click on the leave meeting button or you can click on end meeting for all. When you click on leave meeting, this allows you, the host, to simply leave the meeting. It doesn't end the meeting for anyone. As long as you have you click on leave meeting, the meeting will continue. However, as the host, if you click on end meeting for all, it will terminate. It will close the meeting for everyone. So those are your two options. And again, you, the host, you see the end button. When you click on it, you can, when you want to end the meeting, you click on end meeting for all, and that completely shuts down the meeting for everyone. But you can also leave the meeting as the host and then come back again if you wish, and the meeting will still continue. So that is the end. That's how you complete your or end your meeting as the host. And that really is going to do it for class today. I want to thank everyone for joining me. I'm going to click on the stop share button to stop sharing my screen. And I'm hoping that this was useful for you. So those of you who are going to be hosting meetings, you now know what some of the additional icons are used for, and that you will be seeing them. And my suggestion always is to folks, get your Zoom account meeting. It's free, or get your Zoom account. You can sign up for a free account. You can start a meeting at any time and just practice. You don't even have to invite anyone if you don't wish to, but you can invite a friend to see what it looks like to be a host with another participant. Actually, what I do is I will invite myself and I'll join my own meeting using a different device, whether it's a phone or a tablet. You can actually do that. And this way you can see what it looks like. You can manipulate all kinds of things. And on one device, you can be the host. On another device, you can say, oh, I'm a participant. So experiment with that. And again, come back, take this class as many times as you wish. There's a lot of information that I've kind of spewed out in an hour. I'll be sending after class notes, and I'll do my best to provide additional information with those great questions that you asked. So thank you everyone for joining me today.